Okay, I'm just going to talk about the nature of the ego. Um, so as I previously said, Hawkins calibrates um, the Genesis as 600 through muscle testing, so calibrates true. So it was basically the temptation um, to to go from the nonlinear, the infinite realm, and to choose a dualistic realm, which is spoken of either literally or metaphorically as a world where good and evil exists, or this and that. So there's a me and a you, and there is a good and a bad. Or there's a this and a that. So if we say that, so from the infinite non-linear realm, one then falls into a realm where there's a me and a you, and there's a good and a bad, and there's a judgment, and there's guilt, and there's everything that's the nature of this world. There's birth and death, um, and all the other projections that the ego can make because it sees itself as a limited, identified separate self in separation to God and in separation to others. So all this thing, which is the software. So we say that once we delete all aspects of the belief systems, if you like, even though it can get into more complicated aspects of belief systems, as in karma. But if we make it simple, so there's the belief in time, in body, in my body, in your body, in good and bad, in this and that, in old and young, in whatever. So to and I'm here and you're there, and this took 10 seconds and that takes 10 hours. So all of these things that are projected out of the ego, time, space, location, age, me, you, good, bad, right, wrong. And the capacity as well with feelings, if we take that of not wanting to experience feelings, so using mechanisms to control not feeling, such as eating donuts or alcohol or sex or whatever it is, or TV or YouTube videos, whatever it could be. So they then accumulate what's called repressed or suppressed feelings as well. To add to the nature of I mean, it doesn't really matter. It's all content. It's a belief in good and bad, a belief in old and young, a belief in time, a belief in here and there, a belief in not wanting to feel and control feelings. So they're all different aspects of the software of the ego. But um, so my view is actually having had a white light spiritual experience by going to the observer of that which is behind the ego, and the world disappearing in infinite light. So really, if one releases one's attachment and allegiance to all the thoughts and beliefs and the form of the ego and all projections from this world, then one returns to the infinite light, from my experience, pre-thought, pre-judgment, pre-me, pre-you, pre-time, pre-this, pre-that. It is the source, or I guess from Christianity, they'd call it God unmanifest or the Godhead, or from Course in Miracles, it'd be the source from which I originate, or at least the limited perception or temporary illusion or temporary self that comes and goes and dissolves back into the infinite. So, so that I think, I mean, again, go into all aspects of how the ego gets its limiting beliefs and projections and things, but that's a that in itself I could speak with, for example, why does the ego hold certain beliefs? The Course in Miracles is actually quite good on that. So the only thing that shows up, and 12 steps, that shows up and repeats itself in the ego to stop the infinite nature, the infinite presence at all times, is something that's sticky. So resentment, or the Course calls a grievance or attack thought, is just something that the ego has projected meaning on. Like it doesn't like rain, for example. So then if it's raining, it projects a thought over and over again. This blocks the infinite presence that's always here. All right, so in releasing the software of the ego, like if there was no resentments, there was no attachment to body, there was no attachment to projecting that other bodies exist, then the dissolution of a sense of separation, there's a me separated from others and from God. There's a me separated by time and location. There's a me separated by age or whatever it is. All these dualities collapse into the infinite presence, which is beyond form, beyond me, beyond you, beyond judgment, beyond time, beyond this and beyond that, and beyond birth and beyond death. So that in itself. So I think you can describe it from different angles. From the coarse angle, it'd be meaning. If I have no meaning projected onto body, then I sense an inner self which is bodiless and thoughtless and timeless and beyond a me and a you-less. So all the dualities that the ego holds meaning to start collapsing into the infinite presence. So to dissolve the thoughts and beliefs and projections that the ego creates is just in whichever spiritual tradition you use, you're collapsing. I call it collapsing the dualities, the positionalities, or the things that the ego holds or cherishes, like body, thoughts, judgments, this, that, you, me, and all of those things are deleted until they stop appearing in consciousness because they no longer hold meaning, or as Buddha would say, there's no longer an attachment to those, so they dissolve back into the Buddha nature or the infinite nature or the infinite source. I could go on into repressed feelings, into different belief systems and how they're formed, but I'll save that for another video and I'll press stop recording now.